history in accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada.
This is Deobra Redden, a 30-year-old man facing battery charges in Las Vegas, Nevada. Redden was on probation for an unrelated charge when he got into this altercation with a Las Vegas police officer, a clerk, and a marshal. During the fight, he spat on an officer and was therefore arrested for battery. In court, Redden acted calm and collected. The judge showed a bit of sass during this particular statement.
Like, based on my criminal history, like, I feel that, like, I should be, like, sent to prison for a second time.
Have you looked at your criminal history? Have you looked at your criminal history?
Actually, just, I looked at it.
When you lived it, I suppose.
I just looked at it, yes.
Yeah. Say that, but I think it's time that you get a taste of something else because I just can't with that history. In accordance with the laws of the state of Nevada.
When out of nowhere, Redden's body went flying through the air. Redden attacks. He flew over the podium and slammed Judge Mary Kay Holthus to the ground. He punched her, pulled her hair, and put his hands around her throat. Deputies dragged him off of her. But he didn't go down easy. Deputies and even random court members resorted to kicking and punching Redden to subdue him until backup could arrive. Judge Holthus was injured and had difficulty getting to her feet after the attack. Thankfully, she didn't have to be hospitalized. The next time he was in court, Redden was in a helmet and mittens. Interestingly enough, Judge Holthus refused to be taken off the case, instead insisting that she hand down Redden's sentence herself.
For purposes of the record, I want to make it clear that I am not changing or modifying the sentence I was in the process of imposing last week before I was interrupted by defendant actions. I am making my calendar page from that day an exhibit for the court.
Redden got 4 years for the battery charge. He'll get charged for the attack on a later date. This prisoner was forced into mittens. But how bad do things have to get for a judge to force someone to be duct taped into silence? This is Franklin Williams. He's fighting an appeal for robbery charges in Ohio. He was given 14 years for robbery in 2016, but he came back to court claiming that his attorney didn't explain the charges well enough. Williams did one thing in court: talk.
I just met this attorney the other day.
That's fine. So here, yeah, so okay,
The judge had enough.
Mr. Williams, I'm the judge in the matter. Shut your mouth, and I'll tell you when you could talk. You got it? At this point, I'm going to hear from your lawyers, and that means zip it.
But you're not letting me tell
That
you
means
what's going on.
zip it right now.
You trying to...
Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't.
Finally, the judge gave Williams an ultimatum.
Mr. Williams, listen, listen to me. If we have to, I will gag you in 1 second. So listen to me. You will get a chance to talk. I'm going to gag you in 1 second, so just listen to me.
It wasn't long before the judge followed through on his threat.
Mr. Williams, I want to make it real clear. If you spit on, attempt to bite, or injure any of my deputies, you're going to have a bad day.
None of that.
Oh, you
Put the
clear.
tape on me, man. We done with this shit. That's what it is.
That didn't stop Williams from talking, though.
Mr. Williams will have a chance to speak.
And I'll be monitoring everything I say.
Go ahead.
How can I say?
But once sentencing time came around, Williams calmed down.
Saying freedom of speech, no duct tape. Your Honor, I asked today, Your Honor, that I received the lightest sentence that you can give me.
Williams addressed the whole public when he said this.
I want the world to know I am not an animal. Contrary to what people may think, I am a man.
The judge later apologized for the tape, resigned from the case, and had a new judge appointed.
And no, you're not an animal, Mr. Williams. You're a human being. But the question the court has to determine is whether or not you've learned from those mistakes.
This new judge gave Williams a rare privilege. She let him kiss his mom goodbye before heading off to prison. In the next case, the convict didn't say one single word, but somehow he still wound up in a fight. This is Chance Macko, a 17-year-old charged with grand theft auto, robbery, failure to comply with officers' orders, and harassment with a bodily substance in Columbus, Ohio. On March 4th, 2016, Macko was living in a halfway house for juvie offenders when he went for a joyride in a stolen car. Police officers caught him speeding and they ended up in a high-speed chase. In court, violence broke out, but it wasn't the convict who attacked. It was an attorney. After the bailiff pushed Macko back down, Macko replied, "Don't put your hands on me." The bailiff tells him off for a second before suddenly putting Macko in a chokehold. He has his other hand wrapped around Macko's mouth. He then pushes Macko to the floor, out of his chair, and drags him across the courtroom. The bailiff agreed to resign from law enforcement due to his actions, and Macko's family will not press charges. Macko was sentenced to 6 years for these charges. Now, he was just a kid when he first arrived in court, but how does that compare to a career criminal who gets into a screaming match with a judge? This is Manson Bryant, who's facing charges for first-degree home invasion and kidnapping in Cleveland, Ohio. Now, Bryant was in court because he and 2 female accomplices were caught during a violent home invasion in 2018. The accomplices pled guilty, but Bryant took the case to court. This was his 4th time in front of this judge, and the judge wasn't going to go easy on him.
The last time before this time that I had him, I put him in prison for 4 years for a robbery. He acted out briefly on his way out of the courtroom, and I just let it go. Well, it was clear that the remorse that he was trying to portray was phony, and that he wasn't remorseful at all, and that if given the chance, if I let him loose on society, he's going to prey on other people.
This is the moment he learned his sentence.
Count 5, abduction, felony 3, 22 years.
After hearing that sentence, Bryant starts muttering to his attorney in disbelief. His attorney shushes him with his hand, however, even that didn't work, and suddenly, it sinks in.
Court determines that you have or will have the ability to pay restitution.
Courtroom, you racist. You racist as 22 years. You racist bitch. You ain't shit. James Sturgeon, Lisa Sturgeon told me about that fool.
Actually, you know what?
The judge hands down some swift consequences.
Remember when I said that you had some... Wait a minute. When I said that you had a certain amount of remorse, I was mistaken. The court determines maximum imprisonment. So it's 11 years on count 1 and 11 years on count 3.
Bryant was given 22 years for this crime, but after that outburst, the judge added 6 more, coming to a total of 28. Bryant became a screaming ball of rage, but one of his friends came to the rescue.
Manson, calm down, bro. Let me out the courtroom, man. Take him out. Hey, just take him out. Just take him out. Get out of here. Get out. Hey, take him out, please. Hey, take him out, please. I love you, bro. I love you, man.
Off camera, Bryant's friend pleads with him to calm down, but it doesn't work.
So that's 28 years with credit for 231 days.
I don't want to hear it, man. Let me out. Let's go. Let me out.
Hold on.
I don't want to hear it. Let's go. Let me out. Let him go. Let me out. Let's take him out. Let me out, man. I swear to God, turn up in this bitch.
Does counsel waive the client's presence for the remainder of the advisements I have to give?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can take him.
Hey, thank you, Danny.
Our next case features a convict who did more than just yell at people. In fact, his behavior was so outrageous that he was forced into a terrifying mask. This is Bryce Rambo Rhodes, charged with 3 counts of murder in Louisville, Kentucky. Rhodes was a gangster rapper. His last song, Get Money and Murder, hit a little too close to home.
Get money and murder, get money and murder, get money and murder.
Was his song a prophecy? 2 years after its release, Rhodes saw Christopher Jones walking down the street and shot and killed him, mistakenly believing that Jones had a hit out on him. Weeks later, Rhodes committed 2 other murders. This is Jacory Taylor, the man who helped Rhodes kill the 2 brothers.
I was scared, so I'm like, what you mean? He said it. He's like, I want you to punch him in his chest, and if you hit him in his face, I'm gonna hit you. He had me punching him, and he said, stop. or something like that.
That's when Rhodes tied up the teenager, stabbed him, and forced Taylor to stab him as well. Days later, a pedestrian found the two bodies laying in a yard on a residential street. The detective on the scene said,
We also notify CSU. We also notify, the coroner notifies Ties.
Rhodes was found and arrested. He was held in prison to await his trial, but instead of keeping a low profile, Rhodes took the chance to commit even more crimes before trial even started.
Inmate threw urine through the crack of his door, striking Officer Briles in the head, neck, and left ear.
This man was like a caged animal, racking up multiple charges for assault and terroristic threats. In court, he was nothing but argumentative and contemptuous. He first blew a kiss to the victim's mother, then insulted the police.
What happens when their facts have been diluted, better yet fabricated? How can I receive a clean-cut trial when the Commonwealth has shown corruption and manipulation?
And his next accusation is even more insane.
I don't know if y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on or what y'all got going on, but I'm definitely gonna speak my mind. Are you some type of Or y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it? Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir.
Is that what you really are?
So after accusing his lawyer of having an affair with a jury member and of being a secret Triple K member, and after spitting on him, Rhodes finally faced some consequences. This man was forced into a spit mask. Not only that, the judge threatened to put him in a stun cuff, and even his own lawyer was fed up with him.
Nice cheap shot. You were a coward. Nice cheap. You were a coward.
Rhodes' judge quit. However, the judge made sure Rhodes wouldn't get away with this.
And fix the defendant's punishment for the murder of Maurice Gordon at life without the possibility of parole.
Rhodes was sentenced to life in prison and seemed completely unfazed. His intellectual disabilities and mental illnesses disqualified him from the death sentence. It's especially heartbreaking when a killer takes the life of a young person. But what about when the killer is a teenager themselves? This is Frank Deli and